everyone, welcome to another cast by HD Phoenix. This is going to be game 2 of the semifinals in the upper brackets between aLtOxygeN here in the 12 o'clock position and against HGHx in the 2 o'clock position. Now, last match, if you didn't see it, you should watch it because it is classic Terran versus Zerg in how you put out early pressure to force the Zerg not to build up his economy. Now, HGHx went for the very wise choice of getting an early expansion on Scrap Station, which is very standard. It's a very easy map to get your early expansion on. You can't really deny the early hatchery as Terran, but what aLtOxygeN did was he only made 1 Marine, he rushed out 4 Hellions, and he went into the base to do as much damage as he could. Now, although he didn't really do as much damage as you would like, only maybe killing about 5 or 6 drones, it forced HGHx to make like 20 Zerglings just to hold it off and force him to get speed. Now the thing is people look at that as like, well, you know, he made 20 Zerglings. Okay, you know, great. No, that should have been 10 drones. Those 20 Zerglings should have been 10 drones. And when after the Hellion harass was over and done with, aLtOxygeN had 29 harvesters and HGHx only had 20. And HGHx ironically was the one with 2 bays, and he had 9 less harvesters than the Terran. Man, you are seriously screwed. And then after that, aLtOxygeN had this firm vice grip on his elite, and he just did not let it go. He went into a Viking harass, and after that he just pushed with Medvac's Marine Marauder, and he had like 8 Hellions. It was like ridiculous. So he was non-stop building from only 3 production facilities, being very efficient, and aLtOxygeN was able to take the first game. Now, I have to give, once again, I know I gave the favor to HGHx last game because of Scrap Station. Now I have to give it to him again because of the map position. This is, even though this is, they are side by side again by air rush distance, it does favor Mutalings very well. This crescent here makes very easy expansion by the Zerg, where the Terran has to walk this incredibly long distance in order to put out any kind of pressure. Now, actually, HGHx could be in a lot of trouble, but actually, does he even see this? Does he see it? Yes, he does. He does see the macro-orientated by aLtOxygeN. Actually, look at this. Very classic aLtOxygeN style. He loves to put out very early pressure. He's a very aggressive Terran, but he's not going to be happy to come over here and see that there is no hatchery. HGHx is being very defensive, actually getting early speedlings because he knows the very aggressive style of aLtOxygeN, and he should be just fine. Like, this would be really strong, very effective against the early hatch. But I would actually see aLtOxygeN want to go back. Okay, no, he's not going to go back. He's actually going to lose all his SCVs over here, and this actually could hurt him really badly. He has actually had to run all his SCVs back, and this is actually very effective for HGHx. And look at that, he is making 4 more drones because he knows very aggressive style, and actually that's exactly what you want to do because now aLtOxygeN is forced to go back, and right after this we should see HGHx, you know, spam out a lot more drones and just go macro, because now he just have enough links to hold that thought. Actually, he is continuing to make Zerglings, and he's getting a Banelings nest, so this is actually very risky play. He's deciding to go all in on 1 base. Now 1 base Baneling bus is pretty good. Especially since aLtOxygeN is purely getting Marines, actually getting a little bit supply block there. And you know, as Dayline was saying, if you get supply block like this, you are going to get a lot of minerals piled up. So you might as well make 2 supply depots at one time. And look at that, just so many Marines, and actually able to pull back. You need really need those Banelings, and yeah, we should look to see some Banelings being made up here on the high ground. And this SCV is just doing some very good scouting. HGHx is going to pick it off, but I have to say now that the favor is going to go in form of HGHx. aLtOxygeN being very wise. He knows that there is a possibility of a Baneling bus. He is making a bunker. This is essentially, ironically, a double wall. And this is, now normally a double wall would be like you put other buildings behind here and you make a secondary wall right next to your other buildings. But this is essentially, this is a classic, well, this is a true double wall. This is 2 layers of walls, and Justin has not to be happy to have seen this because he is committed to this. Looking at the harvester count, yes, he is fully committed to this. He's 14/21 and only just getting his hatchery. But even if he gets his hatchery, he spends so much lava on these Zerglings, and this is do or die. This is everything in the hole right now. But given the defensive placement of aLtOxygeN, he is well prepared for this. He has double layers. He even has Marines in the bunkers. He's getting a 3rd layer of wall here, and this is not going to cut it. This is just not going to cut it. There's not enough Banelings. There's only 2 Banelings left, and they do explode, but aLtOxygeN is going to repair it out right quick. And this is the other weakness of the whole. And and right now, HGHx is in a wall of hurt. He is 8 harvesters behind. You never ever want to be behind as the Zerg against any kind of Terran. And look at that, Oxygen is going to go for Marine Tank, which is also effective against Banelings. Because if you micro your Banelings well enough, if you micro your Banelings well, if you micro your Siege Tanks well enough, the Siege Tanks can actually splash a lot on the Banelings and kill many of the Banelings, especially if you have 2 Siege Tanks. Because of the Siege Tank nerf about 2 patches ago, Siege Tanks didn't do 50 damage anymore, they did 35 against light, so they would kill the first Zerg, they would kill the first Baneling, but they wouldn't kill all the Banelings around it. But if you have 2 tanks and you micro the 2 tanks, and you get them to hit the same Baneling, it still has the same splash effect, so you could essentially kill 5 to 6 Banelings with 2 tanks in a single splash. But HGHx is catching up in the harvester count. He's only 3 harvesters behind. But the question is looking at the army count layer. Yeah, look at that. He has Oxygen has the army advantage. He has Hellions, which would deal very well with any Zerglings. He has tanks, and right now HGHx is only just starting his gas, so there's no option of getting mutas. Like mutas are muta Baneling is very good against Marine Tank, assuming you have enough Zerglings and Banelings. Because what you want to do is you want to get your Zerglings to surround this army. You want your Zerglings to run by, and then you A-click one of the Marines. So the Zerglings will swarm in, splash on the Marines, kill all the Marines, and then your Mutalists will kill the tanks. But in order to do that, you need to have roughly an equal army. And if you look at it, Oxygen is going to push out here and essentially crush HGHx unless he can pull something out really well. You know, perhaps do we see Burrow? No, we do not see Burrow on the way. We do see 3 Spine Crawlers, but Spine Crawlers are not going to be effective against Siege Tanks because Siege Tanks have a range of 13 and Spine Crawlers only have a range of 7. This could be actually very detrimental. He doesn't even have any kind of Banelings made right now, and he's actually getting a Spire, so he was thinking of getting some form of Mutalist play, but with only 2 gas, he's not going to be able to support it. He really needs Banelings right now, but does he even have centrifugal hooks? He only just started it, so he's in a war of hurt right now. There's more Marines than there are Zerglings, and that is, okay, a little bit of mismicro there, but yeah, right now the war of course is going to be poured onto Oxygen. The tank is slightly out of it. HGHx is forcing the commit, but it's a little too late. Oxygen is going to come here and just put the finishing blow, and right now he doesn't spam 30 more Zerglings. He's spending every single bit of his lava killing out Zergling, but looking at the harvester count, the harvesters are falling like mad, and against this many Banelings, this many Marines, with Stimpack and more tanks come streaming in, Marines after reinforcing, I don't see how HGHx is going to be able to hold this out. This is the last ditch effort. He is swarming into the tanks. He's able to pick up 2 tanks, but because Zerglings are just so terrible, against Zerglings because they shoot so fast. They do have the stim. They don't even have any of the attack upgrades. But Marines, when they're quietly clustered, especially with SCV support, the SCVs are essentially tanking and repairing these tanks. There is no way that there's absolutely no way that HGHx is gonna be able to. Man, that was the saddest 2 Zerglings ever. Like they just popped out. Hey, what's up, guys? And then boom, the siege tank just smashes them to bits. But yeah, Oxygen is just setting up for the kill. He knows he doesn't have to. He doesn't have to rush. He's just sending an SCV up here just to take a peek. But looking on the harvester count, we are 1 base going 1 base once again. We're looking at the army count 1,008 versus 3,005. And we even have a Mutalist attacking, but Oxygen, being the player he is, some of the SCVs went down. Let's see how many kills this Mutalist has. This Mutalist doesn't even have any kills. So, it's 1 base Zerg against 1 base Terran, and you are behind in harvesters, behind in food, and you're in a war of hurt. These Mutalists are being very wise and trying to pick off their reinforcements, but there are 5 tanks here, man, with very classic Oxygen style. Man, one thing about Oxygen, if you notice about his play, is he loves early pressure, but because the early pressure always leaves him so vulnerable in the base, he loves his missile turrets. Like, it's redonkulous how much missile turrets this guy throws up. Like, one time I saw him fighting against Revenant in the SSL November finals, I believe. Revenant had like 12. What? You're making a barracks here? This barracks, I guess, is just for sight. Just such that you can see, and even that Spine Crawler doesn't even have a chance. And as I was saying, when Revenant, oh my god, he's even walling him in. This is like the perfect contain. And Oxygen is starving HGHx out. On one base, you just know. Oh, look at that! He is getting a nice canal, and this is brilliant, brilliant play by HGHx. This is the last ditch. But the thing is if he commits too many Zerglings into the Nidus, then Oxygen is just going to walk up and crush his main base. And this is a great play, but I think this is a little too late. Oxygen, yeah, here we go. Oxygen can actually just do a base race, and there's no way all these buildings are going to survive before the Mutalists are going to be able to kill these buildings. Oxygen needs to lift his buildings up. Yeah, there we go. And once he lifts these buildings up, he should just march into this base and take it out. But here we go. Here comes the March of Death. And Oxygen is being very patient. He's being very patient. He knows it is his game to lose. Actually, focusing down this engineering bay, he should be focusing down the buildings that can fly. And his Mutalist needs, even using Banelings on the supply depot in frustration. There are so many Mutalists here. HGHx actually should have Nidus and build a hatchery here. Build a hatchery here and then go for the buildings, go for the Mutalists to kill these buildings and actually go for that base race. But right now, HGHx does have 5 more buildings left. He does not want to drop down into the lower brackets. He's not he's not GGing out of this game, even though I have no idea how he's going to win. There we go. The buildings are finally floating away. And the Mutalists are finally trying to power them down. But it's a little too late. The command center is very high in health. And he's just falling back. And there's so... Like, I think this command center might even want to just take this natural. That's irony. But this man, this game is over. There's just no way I can suggest him coming back from this. And eventually he's just gonna call GG, or he's gonna be might actually see something that is extremely rare in StarCraft 2, where a player actually eliminates the other player. Now, there's 2 ways to eliminate the player. Either one, they GG and they leave the game, or even calling down mules to repair. Or you just destroy every single building, and this Nidus is actually gonna... No, Nidus don't bleed to death? No, there we go, it's finally bleeding to death. Abstractors don't bleed to death, but HGHx, he knows it's over, he calls GG, but what could he have done better there? Oh yeah, I know. Like, he saw the early pressure, he saw the double racks, he knew Oxygen was going to go for early pressure, but the ironic thing was, HGHx went for the counter, which was to get lots and lots of speedlings and go for a Baneling bus. But Oxygen was like, okay, I see your mass Zergling, I raise you a double wall. And when when HGHx made that bus, and he ran up, he's like, oh my god, there's a second wall and there's a third wall constructing. And at that point, I felt that he should have just made a second wave of Banelings and go for it, you know, because he was so committed. He was all in it. He was 1 base Baneling. If you go 2 base Baneling, you can still recover because you have the economy, you have lots and lots of drones, and you can recover from that. But a 1 base Baneling play is all in. If you're gonna go all in and you committed to it when you had so many Zerglings, just go for it. Just go for it. And if he had gone for it, he had like 25 Lings. And Oxygen only had maybe like 10 Marines. The Banelings could have vaporized this and he could have won. But yeah, well, enough analysis. But I really do love to analysis my games, and you know, just learn and just see. These are really good players. I mean, I'm not knocking Justin at all. He's a really good friend. He's a really good Zerg. But there's just all these just little things you could learn from your opponents and your own play, and how you can get better. But anyways, let's go into the next game. So I hope you like my cast. I hope you like my new mic and computer and graphics. And if you do like my games, just please subscribe. This is HD Phoenix signing out.